A very good afternoon to you all. Thank you for joining us for the weekly news roundup edition of the Lunchtime News this second day of February 2025. My name is Wadulo Arnold Wadulo, and without further ado, let's get straight into the bulletin. This week, President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni spoke out in a two-page letter response to Friday's Supreme Court ruling that nullified the trial of civilians in military court-martials. In his letter, President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni maintains that civilians found in possession with guns or ammunition which are a preserve of the army should be tried in a military court-martial as a deterrent to criminality. President Museveni, however, directed the Attorney General to study the ruling of the Supreme Court and advise necessary adjustments.
Ugandans, especially the Bazukulu, greetings. I have just come back from wonderful inspection trips for wealth creation in Busoga and Lango. It is wonderful to see our village people waking up and using 1 million shillings of PDM and the Emyoga money to join the money economy with Echibaro, Chura, Aymar, and Otita. However, on getting back to Kampala, I was sorry to hear of the wrong decision by the Supreme Court in the matter of the firearms armed civilians being tried by the military court-martial. This is a method which we, the freedom fighters, support because it reinforces the civilian judicial system to defend the lives of our people against criminals armed with guns. If you are not a soldier, why do you arm yourself with guns and moreover for criminal purposes and illegally that are a monopoly of the armed forces? If you voluntarily acquire these guns, why should you complain when you are tried in a forum that deals with those matters when soldiers are involved? Nevertheless, according to the summary AG gave me on the phone, there appears to be some positive movement among our foreign-oriented judges even in this matter. First, Justices Chibita and Mojenyi sided with the logic that we, the simple people, understand and supported the guns-armed criminals being tried in the court-martial. Salutations to those two judges. Secondly, even the CJ ruled that the court-martial could be used if adjustments are done here and there. I salute that contribution. Even the others who ruled against us had some interesting comments that will be followed up that point towards the need for some rationalization in the procedure of trying civilians in the military courts. Somebody wondered why even a soldier should be tried in a military court for rape. We shall analyze all that. However, one of the aims of the military courts is to protect the army against crime and to ease procedures. How easy will it be to try soldiers who have stolen army rations in civilian courts because stealing is an offense in the penal code? Why not try them in the military court with a right to appeal to the higher national courts if you are not satisfied? The military courts helped us to discipline Karamoja. We cannot and will not abandon this useful instrument for stability. Civilian magistrates were even fearing to go to Karamoja. The military courts have pacified Karamoja and also saved the thousands of Karachunas, warrior youths that are now guests of the state in the prisons who could probably be dead by now in their confrontations with the army. Anyway, the country is not governed by the judges. It is governed by the people, all of us Ugandans that are old enough to vote. In the matter of the Constitution and other legislations, we govern ourselves by having referenda or constitutional amendments or amendments of the laws by Parliament. The judges interpret the laws. Let, therefore, the Attorney General propose the amendments to the Constitution of the laws to help our judges in future from interfering with this useful self-protection instrument for the country, and also remove any irrationalities, if any. If jurisdictions in the Western countries can provide that a man can marry another man or a woman another woman, why can't ours provide that a criminally minded civilian that acquires a gun for criminal intentions be tried in a military court? Back to some of our judges. The rape, corruption, etc. cases are tried in the military courts to protect the institution of the army. The guns armed illegal operators should be tried initially in military courts to protect the society. Yoweri Kaguta Museveni, President of Uganda.
And again, President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni this week appreciated the work done by the presidential skilling industrial hubs spread across the country for their role in combating unemployment by equipping youth with practical skills for self-employment and job creation. The president said this during the commissioning of the Lango Presidential Skilling Hub in Ayere Sel Barapo Ward Lira West Division, Lira District, and pledged to expand the skilling courses offered in the skilling hubs across the country. President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni was also happy to learn that the new curriculum introduced by the Ministry of Education has an element of practical studies that were taught to them even during colonial times.
President Kobonia Nyayo, Netukere Metie, Amekele Yovedo, Yeo, Copel Traha, Karakel Krupi Hegene.
And plumbing.
Karakel Kope Yugopi.
Maybe also electric work.
Come Machiling to a Kireme Yubo, Ikarokenanga Yapo.
So that they have got a bigger base of skills.
Manu don't go to Unanga Mano, UPE, primary, Karakel USC, Uberu Senior.
And we are even, the Ministry of Education is introducing a new curriculum.
Ministry of Melo Puanyere, Tia Donyo Karakel, it will make Kireme Kwananyen,
which has got an element of practical work.
Ametia Kello, Giname, Gudukom, Diro, Keriquiri, Ameomi, Ametia teaching.
Even in the colonial times, we used to do some of these things like these children are doing here, like carpentry and so on. So therefore, please, if you appreciate what is happening here, go and spread it out in the primary schools and in the secondary schools. Now I have heard about expanding the hubs and we shall study that, but for now I'm going to set up a circle. January has already done that. For the graduates per district. The zone is too far, so the circle will be at the district.
And furthermore, the Prime Minister Robina Nabanja this week joined the people of Chinena Village, Kakumiro Town Council, to update her credentials in both the NRM and National Voters Registers. While addressing the residents, Nabanja emphasized the importance of confirming one's details in the voter register as the country prepares for the upcoming elections.
As register, I am here to check my credentials, to find out whether my name is still in the voters register. I want to confirm that I'm here, Nabanja Robina.
Prime Minister Robinah Nabbanja has praised local leaders and residents for taking the time to verify their information. She reminded the public that democracy thrives on active citizen participation and encouraged everyone to continue with the update process. She added that individuals not listed in the voter register will be unable to vote during NRM primaries.
Ati basingisa abantu aba NRM basobole kutunga abantu abanafu oba tuli hamu ati nkabe ebichweka bya Buganda baruraga bona bashimba a candidate ataina maani owamaani bamuyamu usanga NRM ekozire ki egwire hali runu ebyo bikawaawo.
The Prime Minister also urged those responsible for updating the registers to be diligent and ensure that everyone is included.
Nyamuntu wena kumuyamu kandi alimu. Aro omusajja agambe ogwo mu police akagenda naye akaluwa akatererano. Aina n'ekibanja aina n'omukazi. Ati okutukusa muyamu.
Furthermore, senior lawyers Abdu Katuntu and Mukasambide have welcomed the court's supreme ruling that nullified the trial of civilians in military courts. The two lawyers praised the decision, emphasizing that the Supreme Court's directive for reforms, including amendments to the UPDF Act, is a step in the right direction. Let's take a look at those highlights.
In the case of Attorney General versus Michael Kabaziguruka, the Supreme Court judges ruled that military courts should no longer try civilians. In their judgment, led by Chief Justice Alphonse Owinidolo, the justices noted that military courts may not always ensure fair trials, as their judges are often not trained legal professionals.
Verifying that sections 2, now 1, 179, now 177, and 119.1h, now 117.1h of the UPDF Act are unconstitutional insofar as they, without qualification, allow for trial of persons subject to military law for civil offences within the General Court Martial and other military courts tribunals.
Other guarantees of justice and fairness in criminal proceedings are the right to a fair trial and the right to a fair hearing as stipulated under Article 28(1) of the said Constitution.
Senior lawyers Abdu Katuntu and Mukasambide have hailed the ruling as a positive development for civilian justice.
I think this is a fundamental decision taken by the Supreme Court of the land, the highest court in the land. It has redefined what we call military justice. That military justice or martial law is certainly for soldiers. But even then, it has advised reforms. It has advised reforms such that we amend the EPDF Act and bring it into conformity with the constitutional commands. So the court has been exactly succinct on the rights of any person available for trial, be it in the court martial court or any other court of law. And it has guided that a court martial that is established for purposes of adjudication, let it be established as one of the departments of the High Court of Uganda. It must definitely be manned or womaned by competent persons. And that is the only way justice can be seen by the reasonable persons.
The lawyers, who are also members of parliament, urged the military to respect the Supreme Court's recommendations, including appointing trained legal professionals as judges and amending the UPDF Act.
So we need a court established that is professional in nature, that has the competence to adjudicate by evaluation of evidence and therefore giving judgments that are not the subject of partiality. So the court shall be established, but let it be a department. Like we have got an international criminal law division of the High Court. It is there, which definitely would try cases that ideally would be tried by the International Criminal Court. But it is a division. It's not only good for civilians, but also good for the soldiers. The court was so much concerned, especially the decision of the Chief Justice, about the competence of the people who administer the justice. And that does not relate only civilians, but also for soldiers or servicemen who are appearing before them. So we will need qualification for somebody to preside over that court. Not judge advocates whose advice really may be taken or may not be taken by the court. So members of the court martial should actually be people qualified in the administration of justice, even for soldiers themselves.
The UPDF Act currently allows civilians who commit offences alongside military personnel to be tried in military courts. However, the Supreme Court ruling now mandates an amendment to the provision. Philip Aguta for UBC News in Kampala.
Uganda facilitated the safe evacuation of United Nations personnel and their families from Goma. The operation, coordinated with various government departments, saw the arrival of nearly 1,600 evacuees in Uganda before their onward journey to Kinshasa. The majority of those evacuated are Congolese nationals, including women, children, and other dependents. Let's take a look at this report.
Relief was evident on the faces of the Congolese nationals as they arrived at the United Nations Entebbe camp. The 38 buses, carrying mostly women and children, have completed their first leg of their journey to Kinshasa. UBC TV was exclusively embedded with the convoy from the moment it entered Uganda. From Katuna Tumpiji and all the way to Entebbe Expressway, this was a journey of fasts for many. Yet, the relief on their faces as Entebbe came into sight spoke volumes. On arrival, the evacuees were screened and assessed. A small number of international staff will remain in Entebbe for a week as authorities determine their next steps. Pauline Jomo, the UN Director of the Regional Service Center in Entebbe, expressed gratitude to the government of Uganda, particularly the Uganda People's Defense Forces and the Ministry of Foreign Affairs for their swift facilitation of the evacuation.
And I really want to thank the government and UPDF for providing the escort from the Chianika and the Katuna border up to Mbarara, and the military police from Mbarara to Entebbe. And the Ministry of Foreign Affairs through the different departments have facilitated flight clearances. We have been obtaining flight clearances and clearance for them to get into the country in 30 minutes, 40 minutes. Really grateful. It's an operation of saving lives, and the government have proven that they will always be there to save lives.
He further noted that chartered flights have been arranged to expedite the process.
By the end of tomorrow, they will all be gone to Kinshasa. Today at 12, we repatriated 141 to Kinshasa. Tonight at 9 p.m., Ethiopian Airline charter will be taking 261. And tomorrow morning we have a flight at 6:40, another one at 9 o'clock, another one at 10 o'clock. By the end of the day tomorrow, we will have taken all of them back to Kinshasa.
For many, the journey to safety has been grueling. Fleeing Goma, they made their way to Gisenyi and Kigali before enduring a 34-hour trip to Entebbe. UBC TV was exclusively embedded with the convoy from the moment it entered Uganda.
MINUSCO has relocated its senior employees and administrative staff from Goma after the intensified fight between the M23 and the Congo government. Now, these buses have been led into the country under the protection of the UPDF.
From Katuna Tumpiji and all the way to Entebbe Expressway, this was a journey of fasts for many. Yet, the relief on their faces as Entebbe came into sight spoke volumes. Authorities anticipate that an additional 500 individuals may require similar assistance in the coming days. Despite these efforts, a significant number of UN staff remain stranded in Goma due to security concerns that have hindered further movement.
Still have a lot of UN staff in Goma, because at the time that these colleagues were able to cross into Kigali, not everybody left. And then at some point it was too risky for people to leave again. Security asked everybody to stay where they are and wait. So we still have a lot of colleagues in Goma, a lot.
The situation remains fluid, with both the UN and the Ugandan government closely monitoring developments to ensure the safety of personnel and civilians affected by the ongoing conflict. Sharon Chondisha, Samuel Senneno, UBC News.
An international conference on climate change and disease prevalence was recently held in Uganda, urging participants to conduct research on various aspects of climate change, its nature and its causes. The conference also emphasized the importance of using new technologies to study neglected tropical diseases and antimicrobial resistance, outlining the way forward. Now, this event focused on One Health and diagnosing zoonosis, highlighted in the significance of understanding how climate change affects disease prevalence.
Scientists from Uganda, Kenya, Tanzania, Sweden and the United Kingdom have participated in a two-day conference and presented research policy papers focusing on One Health and diagnosing zoonosis diseases. An associate professor of veterinary medicine at Makerere University College of Veterinary Medicine, Dr. Mugisha Lawrence, says the conference was geared at sharing knowledge and skills using new technologies to study neglected tropical diseases and antimicrobial resistance.
The climate change effects, we are the contributors. When we cut down the trees, when we build all these industries and we release what we call green gases into the atmosphere, it affects the climate, it affects the ozone layer, and eventually we get this here, what we call the global climate change that affects us.
Patricia Nyinguzo from the Kenya Meteorological Department stressed the importance of involving local leaders in climate change activities as they are on the front lines of issues related to nature.
I would say it's very important to make decisions based on what the science says. So when we are developing policies, for example, politicians are developing strategies for different levels of government, it's very important to listen to what the scientists are saying, to listen to what the research is talking about, because we have evidence that is exactly showing how various sectors are impacted. So evidence-based decision making is something I would advocate for, but also working across different sectors. So interdisciplinarity or transdisciplinarity should be encouraged, so that, for example, climate scientists are not working in silos by themselves, but they are working in collaboration with other sectors to be able to develop options and strategies that are useful.
Moses Adriko, the senior entomologist at the National Malaria Control Division, Ministry of Health, pointed out that climate change plays a significant role in the spread of diseases and highlighted the need for measures to address these challenges.
So we are likely to see a high burden of these vector-related diseases. That's the reason why we are here in this conference together to discuss and see how do we improve diagnostics for these zoonotic diseases, and how do we bring the information and knowledge closer to people who make policies, and also how do we advance the knowledge better for our ordinary Ugandans to understand that they have a role to play in terms of ensuring that our environment is not tampered with, our environment is sustainably maintained so that it does not affect us in the long run.
Indian investors have partnered with the MK Youth Initiative Foundation to boost farming in the country. A groundbreaking partnership between Indian investors and the MK Youth Initiative Foundation is set to revolutionize farming in Uganda. Patrick Okiru, the chairman MK Youth Initiative, speaking to the investors, expressed gratitude for the team to accept to work together.
Okay, it's okay. So with a few people came up with this idea, and slowly we started preaching the gospel to the young people. Instead of becoming wasted and useless, let us engage ourselves into productive ability that can change our lives in terms of job creation and of course empowering ourselves. As I said before, this is nothing to do with the politics. I want all Ugandans to come and embrace this. We all need to support ourselves and let's not have petty politics. This is type of politics when people are going to come in with so many lies. We should always learn to build our nation than to destroy what we have. You must learn to create a job for yourself. And here MK has come with the solution. All the young people who are fighting out there looking for jobs, fighting to look for change. President Museveni is still there, and we are praying for him for his good leadership that he has made us very proud. For those who understand how the government works, the president has done his part, and I want to tell Ugandans that even though today, like one professor say, Museveni is not a problem. The problem is we Ugandans. We don't see the value of what we have. We don't see the value of our ability to do work, apart from looking for opportunities which should not come. As I want to repeat what the President says, please, there's no shortcut for wealth. We must stand up to work hard for ourselves. And therefore, we have the solution for you to come and work for yourself.
Youth plays a very important role because you are the future of this country. You are the one who will take this country to higher heights and higher reaches. Then when we talk about skill development, job opportunities, we have to look at things from a very different perspective. Agriculture is one main core of India as well as Uganda. We talk about the land. We have huge amount of land and the soil is very fertile. So when you grow different kinds of crop, the crop production gets resulted into a higher yielding results, and that in turn will give you a profit and will empower youth population to generate more jobs and to get into the better prospects of domains. It's like a peanut.
Peanuts.
Peanuts. The UPDF has launched post-Tarehe Sita celebrations in Kalungu district, focusing on strengthening community ties. The opening ceremony held in Chamuliwa were graced by the State Minister for Lands, Dr. Sam Mayanja, as the chief guest. He was welcomed by Kalungu RDC Dr. Paddy Kayondo and other local leaders.
State Minister for Lands, Dr. Sam Mayanja, has vowed to combat land grabbing in Kalungu district and praised the UPDF for fostering freedom, which has driven economic growth, particularly in agriculture. This was during post-Tarehe Sita celebrations held in Kalungu district.
Mwebale nnyo kwagala Yoweri Kaguta Museveni. Ettaka President Museveni kye kintu kyasooka okukolako. Naye kati mpulidde wano wegamba nti abantu baboga ku ttaka, sebo nkolera alipoota. Bwe baba nga ddala gye bali, nja kujja n'amagye gange. Bwe naaba nga nzize nange agatamala, wuuno kamanda ali wano ajja kumpa mundu esingawo. Kamugagga once again, nange natandise okulima emmwanyi. Era juzi n'akantu katono nnyo bwe kati naye nakafunamu ensaawa 10. Bannange bamagye mutukoze bulungi nnyo.
The commander, Ahmad Brigadier General Deus Sunday, represented the CDF, General Muhoozi Kainerugaba. He highlighted the UPDF's role in liberation and maintaining strong community relations.
Tuli wano kubatukira banakalungu ate tubeyanjire tubategeeze nti no bye tukola mwe mubiganyiddwamu. Kano Rukundo kyababulidde nti no emabega ebiseera ebyo enkwatagana y'omuntu wa bulijjo n'omusirikale especially amagye teyali nyangu. Kasita omulengera bulengezi kakokola tondekawa tondeka nyuma si bwe kiri naye ennaku zino
The Deputy Chairman, Chamulimbwa Haj Isambago, urged President Yoweri Museveni to pave the Villa Maria Gombo Road as a gesture of appreciation for the UPDF's contributions.
Mbasaba mutuyambe mutukolere mukole oluguudo okuva we twakoma tudde Masaka
mututerewo kolas okutuuka ku katonga Goma District.
The RDC, Dr. Pade Kayondo and Kalungu Deputy Mayor Irene Nanyanzi commended Dr. Mayanja's efforts to protecting landowners and Bibanja holders, urging his continued support for land issues in Kalungu.
Look at town council batuwadde ebintu bingi. Batumaliriza eddwaliro, bazimba toilet ku landing site, batukoledde ebintu nga biwera.
Nzikiriza nkwebaza olw'emirimu egyo gy'okolera eggwanga naddala mu ministry emwoti mu kigambo ky'okutaasa abantu abababiddwako abayiikiriziddwa mu bigambo bya ettaka.
The celebrations concluded with a friendly football match between the UPDF and Kalungu residents, symbolizing unity and friendship.
Furthermore, the president of traditional healers in Uganda, Nalongo Nansamba, has asked her members to recognize the role of the national resistance movement, especially President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni and the Uganda People's Defense Forces, for the progress Uganda has made. More details in this story.
Traditional healers from across the country have gathered at Nakimamba village in Njeru Town Council in Buike district and unanimously resolved to commend President Yoweri Museveni for the country's remarkable strides, particularly in fostering tolerance and peace.
Mbasaba abasawo b'ekinnansi mukuuma amasabo gaffe nga mayonjo. Mbasaba okubeera abantu ekyokulabirako eri abo bemujjanjaba. Kubanga gye buvuddeko emabega babadde bagamba nti abasawo b'ekinnansi buli kikolobera ekijja nga bagamba nti ekyo musawo wa kinnansi yakikoze.
Bannaddiini abo oba abanaddiini endala abakatuliki abasiraamu abakrezia bonna ekyamazima bazze batukuba nnyo era batuvumirira. Era kigambo kya sitaani kyekyo era munaffe naffe tuveewo ensonga naffe tumanyi Katonda obuwangwa bwaffe n'ennono yaffe bajjajjaffe byaliwo kubaddawo omwana wa muddugavu yazaalibwa buzaalibwa.
This comes at a time when Ugandans are bracing for the Tarehe Sita Day, which is celebrated annually in commemoration of the NRA achievements. The event highlights the peace and stability Uganda enjoys today, which in many ways may not have been possible without the efforts of the National Resistance Army. The traditional healers collectively agreed that Uganda is now a peaceful nation and called on the government to continue prioritizing service delivery for the benefit of all citizens.
President Museveni atuyambe ku makubo kubanga awadde abantu emirembe ne bagula emmotoka oluguudo bw'oba tozinduse kiro bannange oyinza obutatuuka gy'olaga mu budde.
The meeting also recognized and welcomed the new members, urging them to uphold the values and rules that guide the smooth operation of the organization.
Nti bwe munaaba nga twegattidde wamu ne tulema okweyombesa ne tulema okwerwanyisa manyi nti bwe tunayetula eddoboozi erimu eseena egenda kutwesiimisa.
People living with disabilities in Kasese district have expressed concern over the lack of information regarding government programs that are geared towards uplifting them from poverty. This concern was raised during the international celebrations of persons with disabilities in Kasese district held at Renzori Square in Kasese municipality.
Persons living with disabilities in Uganda have joined the rest of the world to celebrate the International Day of Persons Living with Disabilities in Kasese District. The chairperson of Persons with Disabilities in Kasese District, Joshua Mugenyi, expressed a need for government to incorporate PWDs in all programs that would improve their lives at all levels.
To be able to meet the basic needs, their livelihood outcomes must be improved by inclusive programs such as employment, representation and commissions and the other bodies. Hence nothing for us without us.
A member of the National Resistance Movement Central Committee, Gabriel Kato, directed the resident district commissioner for Kasese to find out why some persons with disabilities in Kasese still face violation of their rights, like not accessing education.
So I urge you and I ask the RDC of Kasese to make sure that he sensitizes people, and if a person has rocked the child with a disability not to access education, that person should be taken to the courts of law and be punished according to the law.
The resident district commissioner for Kasese district, Lieutenant Joy Walusimbi, also directed the office of the chief administrative officer to intervene on issues concerning funds that are meant to benefit persons with disabilities in the district.
And I think town clerk and the cow should follow that, so that people really get that money. It should not be good to government hearing that is being taken by other people when the real beneficiaries are here not getting it.
Meanwhile, the manager, Centenary Bank, Masereka Selevano, says only one person with disability has so far approached them to access a loan.
Because from the time the government started for our bank, we managed to serve one, and we had to look for her. So we want more to come on board, and it's the reason we organized today's function, to see that we get to them, we give them the information. If they embrace the information.
The national celebrations were held last year on 3rd December in Kumi district under the theme Improved Household Incomes for the Well-Being of PWDs. Education Mitoma.
A former news anchor at Vision Group's Teso region-based television station, Noah Omuya, has announced his intention to contest for the Eastern Youth Member of Parliament seat. During a meeting with Teso journalists, Omuya outlined key priorities from his manifesto. Let's have a look.
A former news anchor at Vision Group's Teso region-based television station, Noah Omuya, is joining mainstream politics by vying for Eastern Region Youth Member of Parliament seat. Omuya is an experienced media professional who has pledged to offer best services as an Eastern Region Youth MP seat.
I'm not in this race because I want to compete with people. I am not in this race because I want to fight with people. I want to fame or being seen or being known just like that. I am here to offer service. I am here to offer leadership. There are some of the things I have done before and I have not been able to do because of where my level of hierarchy reaches. I feel this position.
Noah Omuya, a hopeful candidate for the Eastern Youth MP seat, stated that he is running for office to provide better services for the youth.
The health and well-being of the young people, including access to good health facilities, especially for the young people who start up families and they do not have where to start from. The only option they have is maybe go to a public hospital and it is full, you go, your child.
He urged the youth in the Eastern region to vote for him, promising effective leadership.
The influence of the name maybe your family has. And we forget that we need these positions for the effective leadership for any person. I am standing in the principle of effective leadership without any backing of family, without any backing of any big person, without anyone sending me to go to parliament to look for money to go and build someone's business or a family.
Benjamin Epeduno, a journalist based in Katakwi district, called upon fellow journalists to rally behind Omuya. He added that Omuya plans to create employment opportunities for the youth.
Glad that the journalists of Teso have all united to back one candidate. But no matter what, we don't mind about the money, but we are going to use our hands, in the mouth and everything to make sure that we rally behind Noah Omuya. This time around we have not seen very much from the current MPs and the gone MPs. Right?
Sam Odongo, chairperson of Teso journalists, emphasized that this time the Teso journalists have decided to support one of their own, Omoya, for the Eastern Youth MP seat.
Is many times we journalists have supported people, but when these people get opportunity to go to those offices, they leave us behind. So today we have decided to say, let us send our own, who is a journalist like us, so that when he goes to that house where decisions are taken, he can speak for us and he can speak.
Odongo noted that many media professionals are young people and they need a youthful leader who understands their needs. He described Omoya as a focused and visionary young leader. Odongo also called on journalists from Busoga, Bugisu, Sebei and Teso to support Omoya in the youth campaigns.
He goes to parliament, he goes and makes his own money, but you find a young person down there, he's suffering from poverty. And you find there are very many projects, like right now the one that is going on, APDM. If you go and check down there in the records from the district, you find many young people are left out from that first development project. The same applies to Emioga. The young people have not benefited. So we need a young person who has understood the issues affecting the young people.
Medical experts pin private clinics on mismanaging expectant patients, leading to postpartum hemorrhage conditions. This condition is characterized by bleeding after, it's actually hemorrhage, yes. This condition is characterized by bleeding after birth, which contributes to about 25% of maternal mortalities in Uganda. Our reporter has been investigating the circumstances surrounding the death of a 37-year-old Lucy Aluka, a victim of excessive bleeding after childbirth. Lucy was buried in the district.
The grave of Aluka Lucy is being constructed in Chidekto village, Ogangai parish, Pingire sub-county, Serere district, where she was being laid to rest. Relatives and friends are still trying to come to terms with her sudden death. Aluka Ebaima Lucy met her death on 23rd January 2025 at Soroti Welfare Clinic, where she had gone to deliver her first child.
Now when to reach around 4, the nurses called her. Then of course they started injecting her, then she came out and told me, because by then they had already given us a room.
After the surgery conducted by Dr. Egwao Godfrey and other co-workers, the relatives were given the newborn baby.
I'd expected them to bring her also immediately. So when I was there, of course we were there, it took about again an hour for them to bring her. But before they brought her, they came because I was now with my sister. By then she was the one carrying the baby. They came and told us that now we are bringing back the patient, but we need you out.
Later, the hospital staff told them that Lucy was in deep sleep after the surgery, but she never woke up.
So me, I woke up when I became alert when I heard my sister saying that, why is she very cold? Because now the sleep was catching me. So that thing, whatever me, shocked me. So I said, the baby started crying, maybe after 1 hour. The baby now was kind of restless. So the nurse comes in and tells us that, you go and get some glucose and Rinsori to give that baby, because he'll continue crying because of what? Hunger.
They noticed something was wrong with the flow of the drip.
I realized the drip they had put, because they would put big and small. The big one had stopped because the other ones were not there. So me, I opened the blanket, because one hand for the drip was on our side. I opened the blanket and I said, maybe if I pinch her, she can do what? She can wake up. So the hand was very stiff like this. I said, these people now, they would have told us that she's dead. How can they make us lie with the baby? Then we would be expecting her to wake up and feed her baby.
Dr. Egwao, upon arrival, took the remains of Lucy to a nearby mortuary run by a funeral home.
And then he did the body treatment and then they allege that thereafter he switched off his phones. So there was a breakdown. They raised concerns, and police, we took it on.
Then instructed those mortuary attendants that don't allow them to take the body before they pay the fee.
The relatives sought for a post-mortem report, contacting the nearby Soroti Regional Referral Hospital, but in vain.
The first doctor we consulted about doing the post-mortem was at first he was positive about it. So afterwards, again, the doctor changed his mind.
The relatives eventually obtained a post-mortem report from Regional Police Surgeon in Mbale, which revealed that Lucy died from severe postpartum hemorrhage. Police spokesperson Situma Rusoke confirmed that Dr. Egwao Godfrey was apprehended and later secured a police bond as the investigations continue.
I think either by tomorrow the file will be submitted to the state attorneys.
The relatives accused Soroti Welfare Clinic and Dr. Egwao of negligence and withholding vital information.
Because the actions of the medic or the doctor after the procedure leave a lot wanting.
Bleeding during pregnancy is a common condition, but can be managed by experts. Dr. Henry Kiza, a gynecologist and obstetrician at Mulago Women's Specialized Hospital, explains.
Bleeding during a C-section shouldn't go beyond 1 liter of blood or more. So anything bleeding of 1 liter or more is considered as excess. Now, so how do we prepare ourselves? It is not only the mother who should prepare themselves, also the doctors. So a mother who is going to have a C-section, on the doctor's side, there must be a reason. There must be a scientific reason for the C-section to be carried out.
An adequate plan before a surgery or C-section is to prevent complications. Private medical facilities contribute to maternal mortalities due to inadequate skills and neglect of guidelines.
These doctors should be monitored, not only to offer them operation licenses, but also subsequently to be updating them, their registers, to know that they are still competent to carry out these procedures.
The guidelines also include liaising with the patient and the family on the process.
We have a big role to explain to them that just being your first time doesn't mean that you require a C-section. So in that case, you explain to them why they need to follow. We follow the guidelines.
Reliable information indicate that postpartum hemorrhage contributes to about 25% of maternal deaths in Uganda. Aluka Lucy's death has left the relatives and community in shock. As investigations continue, relatives demand for justice and accountability. Daniel Mugoya, UBC News.
Here's your chance to win school fees for your child for a whole year. Just pay school fees using Momo. Dial *165 *80#. Select option 2 for school pay. Select option 1 to pay school fees. Enter the student number and amount and approve the transaction. You are now entered a draw to win school fees.
Step into a world of excellence, comfort and pride with Royal Foam Furniture, crafted to perfection right here in Uganda. We bring you state-of-the-art living room furniture and bedding products at affordable prices. Our wide variety of mattresses include orthopedic, pillow top, spring mattresses suitable for institutions like hotels, and many others for home comfort. With every piece telling a story of royal excellence, our products are built with the highest quality materials made to last. Experience royalty with Royal Foam Furniture, proudly made in Uganda, so buy Uganda and build Uganda. Visit our showrooms at Ginger Road, Chambogo Junction, Bukota Chisasi Road, and on Victoria Mall, Entebbe, on the first floor. Government of Uganda presents Post Buses in Uganda, operated by Posta Uganda. We specialize in professional transport, courier and vehicle hire services across Uganda. Our routes include Kampala Masaka Mbarara Kabale Chisoro, Kampala Mukono Jinja Mbale via Tirinyi Road Soroti Lira, and Kampala Luwero Kamudini Gulu Kitgum. Our main offices are located at the Post Office Head Office on Kampala Road, with booking services available at counters 23 and 24 at the General Post Office. You can also book at designated district post offices along our routes. For inquiries or bookings, please contact us on 0751 684 184. Posta Uganda. We deliver trust.
It's our mission to secure your money.
Protecting your money is as important as earning it. It is for this reason that the Deposit Protection Fund of Uganda, DPF, was established by the Government of Uganda to provide deposit protection to customers of regulated financial institutions. In the unlikely event that your commercial bank, credit institution or microfinance deposit-taking institution fails, the DPF will pay you up to 10 million Uganda shillings. Keep your personal information such as national identification number, mobile phone or an alternative bank account updated with your banker. Terms and conditions apply. For more information, contact DPF at Aha Towers, Plot 7 Lodell Road, Kampala. Call 0312-206-400 or visit our website at www.dpf.or.ug.
Protect your money. Protection Fund of Uganda.
Lillian! Lily flower!
So small seed.
The cedar bus of beauty, the power bank of my heart, the sugar of my milk tea.
I'm glad you're here. Today buy for us some chicken.
No problem. You can eat whatever you want. I had already ordered. How much?
122.
122. Now, what if I take this one and this one? And can I also borrow this one? How much now?
When your money is not enough, don't hassle. We're sorting it with MTN Momo. Use the Momo app or dial *165 *5# to add call with Momo Advance and pay.
Welcome back. You're still watching the UBC News, broadcasting live from Nile Avenue. Makerere University School of Women and Gender Studies has praised President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni for enhancing their ICT skills through various training initiatives. This was highlighted during the 6th Information and Communications Technology graduation ceremony held at the Central Teaching Facility. Let's take a look.
The presidential mobilizer for the Poverty Eradication Program, Pastor Mbabazi Robert, has urged the public to update their voter registration ahead of the upcoming general elections to avoid any inconveniences.
To encourage all Ugandans to make sure that the current exercise of the Electoral Commission
for vote register, make sure your name is already on register. Go and check at all polling stations. Electoral Commission officials, they are there in the field. LOC's chairperson, they are there.
An ICT lecturer, Dr. Frank Nyakahuma, emphasized the importance of utilizing ICT knowledge and skills for positive and constructive purposes, particularly in national development.
We also want to thank the President of Uganda for giving us these views who have been recommended by Pastor Mbabazi, the presidential advisor, to come and study ICT. These students have been able to achieve a lot, so and we want to send them in the community to develop our country so that we fight unemployment, which is a big problem in Uganda.
Graduates expressed their gratitude to President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni for empowering them with ICT skills through the Team Sala YKM Chair House initiative spearheaded by Pastor Mbabazi Robert. They acknowledged the positive impact this training has had on their communities.
It is so beautiful this day that we have graduated in IT essentials. All the way from CCNA, it was last year when we had that course, and we had the certificate of CCNA. There we are now for the IT sessions. We thank the women and gender development for having looked at those persons from the grassroots up to this level of the university.
I came in Makerere University studying computer courses. I first finished the CCA. Now I've completed the IT essentials. I've graduated today.
Now we have achieved a very big milestone. I remember when I came here, I was only a senior 6 leaver. But now I've got multiple kind of endorsements through the different developments that have been given to me.
Nabasa Vaira, UBC News.
And that brings us to the end of our weekly Roundup News edition. Thank you for being a lovely audience. My name is Wadulo Arnold Mark. Do stay tuned for more news in our subsequent bulletins. Otherwise, for now, allow us to wish you a lovely Sunday afternoon.
UBC, inspiring Uganda.